job crafting the key to more engaged employees? I'm Alyssa Blackburn. Tech Edge starts now. Welcome to Tech Edge, presented by AvePoint, where each episode we delve into the latest industry trends for business, IT, and their significance in today's landscape. In this episode, we're going to dive into the concept of job crafting and how it's reshaping the way we work. Joining me now is David Robinson, the Information Management Coordinator, and Sam Parker, Information Management Analyst at the City of Greater Geelong. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here today to tell us a little bit more about job crafting. Let's start though, job crafting, bit of a weird word. So let's start by telling us, what is it and why would somebody do it?
Yeah, look, job crafting's always been part of the human existence, where we've taken tasks or activities and redesigned them to make them more meaningful for us. So it's really important to get that fulfillment in those roles.
Mm-hmm. So what's some of the research then around job crafting?
So there's two types of research that we've mainly deployed here with job crafting. So the first one's fish philosophy, which swept through the local government sort of sector maybe 10, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it has 4 different practices which help business leaders make their jobs more fulfilling for their staff, improving the workplace culture. So we focused on the one that's focused on play. And play is where it triggers creativity and fun, which is really important when you're wanting to get a better outcome.
So we're really talking about using play and fun activities and things like that to engage our employees and maybe getting them to change their behaviour or learning some new concepts or things like that.
Exactly what it does.
Interesting. Okay. So tell me then a little bit more about how you guys have used it, particularly at Geelong, Greater Geelong Council.
Yeah, I can jump in there, Alyssa. When I first started at City of Greater Geelong, David is my direct report, and he handed me otherwise a fairly dry task of the Information Asset Register update, which essentially means you need to go around the whole organisation and get everyone to pretty much air their information management dirty laundry.
Oh gosh.
As a new staff member, that was super daunting. So after some discussion, we decided that a slightly more left field than usual approach could be a good way to drive engagement. And based off that, I started off with a presentation which I brought in one of my personal passions into the space, which is marine aquariums. Made a presentation on marine aquariums, but linked in the values of information asset registers.
Oh, I love that idea, definitely.
Yeah, really got them on board and just sort of broke the ice nicely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, personally, I think storytelling is one of the greatest ways to communicate, because it gives people something to relate to. And it gives people something that they're not maybe going to remember all the ins and outs of an information asset register, even though they should. But are they going to remember the aquarium, the beautiful colours they saw, the stories that you told them? Yeah, they are going to. They are going to remember that it's going to be a much more fulfilling experience for them than talking about, unfortunately, what is somewhat of a dry,
bit of a necessary
topic, definitely. So what was the outcome with some of that? How did it go?
Yeah, so for that example, it went really well. We did that information asset register right at a horrible timing, really, when the organisation was going through a major restructure. And as a result, there were some big changes happening and quite a little bit of maybe information management hot potato happening. So we went into it expecting about a 40% succession rate or completion rate of the asset register. And I'm pleased to say that with that approach, they were able to get up to 80% completion rate. And probably more importantly, in my opinion at least, was that it built some connections with the organisation. As you say, people adapt in or buy into the story and got to know me as a person, which then led to getting a seat at the table for upcoming information management projects, which realistically is that proactive approach is the sort of holy grail that I'm looking for in information management.
Absolutely. And from an information management perspective, I think it is that seat at the table that we are really looking at. So any creative ways that we can look to continue that is absolutely important. So
typically information management teams find out about new processes or new systems 6 months, 12 months or even more down the line. So getting an at ground zero and getting a seat at the table to sort of inject a bit of information management from the start was incredible.
Absolutely, and I think there's also that opportunity to show the organisation that you're not necessarily the dry basement dwelling person that they might think you are.
Every opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've got a little bit more of an opportunity to make it as interesting as we think it is. So.
And when I started 2 years ago, I just wanted to test the environment for capacity for fun. So we did a paper plane challenge.
Oh, I love
which
that.
Sounds very simple and straightforward, but it originally was just a team building exercise because I had new team members like Sam join the team, myself as a new coordinator, and that was really good. But it started very slowly. I just thought we can give it a job crafting makeover and expand it out. So we challenged other floors at the council's headquarters just to a fun activity. So what it ended up with being, we gave a platform for the new CEO. It also raised information management with her in her eyes. We tested, as I mentioned, the fun that we had with the paper plane challenge, and it proved also that we don't wait around to improve workplace culture. The information management team can step forward and do it.
Oh, I love that. The information management team can actually influence workplace culture rather than sort of being affected by it. I think that's fantastic. So has that paper plane challenge become like a bit of an ongoing thing now in the organisation? Is it something that people reference? Are they boasting about their incredible achievements in the paper plane challenge?
Yeah, look, I think there's still conversations going on. We managed to have our championship watched by over 80 staff.
Oh, wow.
Participating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the new CEO, she did the ceremonial throw, very similar to the baseball.
Yep.
But she actually would have come second in the competition.
Oh my goodness.
So,
that's incredible.
Yeah. So we had disco lights, we had Sam, most importantly as our MC, and he was inserting some sneaky IM messaging there as well to the audience. But
there's never a bad time for sneaky information management messaging as far as I'm concerned, definitely. So what are you going to do next? What's you've used some of the marine building, reef building stuff, you've used your paper plane challenge. How else are you going to engage the organisation in some of these dry topics using something like job crafting?
Yeah. Funnily enough, information management is the sort of area where there's never a shortage of dry tasks that require completion.
Really? That's shocking new information. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's a necessary evil in the space. There's a lot of compliance, a lot of tasks that we have to do just to be, remain compliant, and trying to get engagement with the organisation on those just presents opportunity after opportunity to just go for a slightly different approach, have a bit of fun with it, and if you're having fun with it, identifying that the people you're engaging with have fun as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, Alyssa, what I'm hoping to do, we've got a big ECM project coming up next year, which would be a perfect vehicle. We've got over 3,000 staff at council, so Sam and I can't personally go and use our charisma and charm on everyone. So we need job crafting as a vehicle. And one of the things that I would like to do is do a records management rap song.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Can I ask now, can we book that in for a future episode? Because I would very much, I feel the world needs to see that.
Yeah, look, I mean, Sam and I put ourselves out. We won't be doing any ray gun, break dancing or rapping.
Disappointing.
Not this time around.
But as you see, 3,000 staff, someone's got to be able to spit some verses. Music-wise, we just take it on. That's what job crafting does.
Spit some verses, a phrase that I will be trying to incorporate into my everyday life going forward. Okay, so give us some advice then. You guys have obviously done a really incredible job, and David, I know you've used this in other organisations that you've worked in as well, but if someone's wanting to start in this area, what are they going to do? Where should they start? What should they be looking for?
Look, what I would recommend firstly is job crafting happens with or without management approval. So the chances are there's job crafting happening right now in your workplace. So when you think about it, there may be opportunities for you to join. But if you're wanting to start something yourself, I would recommend just starting small, but it's really important to be yourself. That's the most important thing. Be genuine, be yourself. And then if you do need resources, feel free to raise it with your supervisor, because ultimately your supervisor too would be interested in hearing new ideas and supporting you to do it.
Yeah, I think if you're about to initiate a task, if you're about to do something and you're just a touch hesitant on it, maybe you're about to send a dry global email that's focused on compliance, just pause for a moment and think if there's a different way you could approach this. And realistically, what's the worst that could happen? No one loves a global compliance email, so try something different, see how the results go.
Yeah. I did once, I will admit, so if you need help with the wrap, I'm just putting my hand up now. I did once write an entire presentation on the importance of records management in rhyme.
So, wow, we found our spot.
Absolutely. So putting my hand up, I'm here to help with that kind of thing. What are some practical suggestions? So, you've talked about the reef building and things like that. What are some other things that organisations could perhaps, what are some tangible things that they might want to consider?
Yeah, I think David hit the nail on the head before in that be yourself. The whole idea of job crafting is to inject your personal passions. So putting yourself out there to show the organisation that you're not just a records manager, that you do things outside of work as well, and you'll find some common ground, whether it's your pets, whether it's the sporting team you follow, or whatever other hobbies you have. If you can show that side of you and incorporate that into your work, I think you're going to get a lot more engagement.
And finally, how has the organisation responded to it? So how has it worked? Look,
I mean, I suppose the CEO, our new CEO, was an example of that. So we've seen, as in reactions to us having fun, that it's also provided them with a platform to show their fun side to the organisation. And I think very much post-COVID, and that the executives are more than ever wanting to engage better with their workforce and encourage it. And let's face it, if we're all relaxing, having some fun, we're going to be doing our work and it's going to get achieved. That's what the research says, that it provides that fulfillment in your job and it flows on and is infectious and building trust. So
we're really getting a number of outcomes here, I think, by looking at something like job crafting, is we're building employee engagement, we're making sure that dry topics that perhaps, have not been communicated in the best way are now being given more airtime, but in a way that people actually want to consume them. But in addition to that, we're also now engaging and collaborating with other areas of the organisation who maybe, could ride off some of that work. So, I mean, it sounds like a great winning situation, definitely. Would you do it again?
Most definitely.
100%, always looking for those opportunities. As I said, we're behind the 8 ball with information management. So already we get viewed as one of the meaningless tasks, I suppose, from outside of the profession. So this is a way that we can engage and as Sam mentioned, lean into your personal passions. So for instance, some work that we did previously with Mirrabel Shire, we'd use visual art as part of an IT project. So surprised a lot of people.
Amazing. Thank you both for coming and sharing this incredible stuff. I'm really, really impressed to see your success in this. But job crafting, absolutely something that you want to consider. It's something that you want to bring to your workplace to make some of those dry topics a little bit more interesting. This is Ticker. We'll be right back.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.